In this video, we're going to be talking about 5 signs your ex is emotionally unavailable. But first, my name is Clay with modernlove.life, where we help you get the great loving relationship that you're looking for without having to play mind games, without having to play hard to get, and without having to pretend to be someone or something that you are not, because you deserve to be loved for the unique, amazing, and wonderful person that you are. And if you agree with me, please do me a favor by hitting that thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm and by subscribing to this channel down below. This does help to grow the channel. It does help to send a message to YouTube to kind of show this video and recommend this video to more people. So if you do get value out of these videos that I put up, help a guy out with his channel. Also, if you are interested in working with us, we do have a survey, a quick quiz that you can fill out over at modernlove.life/quiz. You can find a link to it down below. There's also more links to other ways that you can work with us as well down below too, if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, so let's get into this whole emotional unavailability issue. So I have spoken before on the topic of emotional unavailability. We do have an entire video playlist on emotional unavailability. You can find it right up there in a video card that we'll put up there in the corner. But emotional unavailability is a serious issue that you're probably going to have to confront in your journey of getting back together with your ex, or in your journey of finding a relationship with someone, anyone at all, really. There are emotionally unavailable people out there, and they can consume a large amount of your time and energy and ultimately not commit to you. So it is important to be able to recognize these people. With that being said, most people are going to be at least temporarily emotionally unavailable after a breakup. This is extremely common. After all, a breakup is a very emotionally intense thing, so it's very normal for people to, kind of recoil a little bit emotionally as they go through maybe a healing process. However, there are also people that might be emotionally unavailable long-term, either due to that very breakup or other things that happened in the past before the relationship, and these people, may have other issues to work through. And they may be emotionally unavailable in the long term, kind of stretching forward. So it's important to recognize these traits. So the first one that you want to look out for is that an emotionally unavailable person is unlikely to have a lot of relationship history in their past. Now, again, if you're like 20 years old or a teenager or something like that, yeah, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of relationship history anyway. So that's totally normal. But, if you're talking to someone who's like, 30, 40, 50 years old or something, and they've never been in a serious relationship, or maybe they had a short little fling that lasted a few months, or a couple short relationships or something, but the bulk of their time they've been out of relationship, it does kind of indicate that they are likely emotionally unavailable. That's not to say that they necessarily are emotionally unavailable. There could be other reasons why they have, not been in a relationship during large swaths of time, but it is definitely something that an emotionally unavailable person would have in their history, in their track record. So that is something to keep in mind as you're kind of looking at someone's previous relationship history. The second thing that someone who is emotionally unavailable would do is that they, tend to look down on the feeling aspect of our life. They tend to look down on the emotions. They, might kind of downplay the importance, or they might even just say, emotions make you weak. I don't have any feelings. I do my best to, smush those down or something like that. This could come out in all sorts of ways, but basically they try to, kind of cut off their emotions as best as they can. And I mean, obviously this is not a healthy behavior, right? Obviously emotions are a natural part of the human experience. And yeah, we should go ahead and allow ourselves to feel them, even though it might be uncomfortable sometimes, even though these emotions might make us experience pain, might make us experience other sorts of uncomfortable feelings. It doesn't make you weak. I mean, there's a difference between letting your emotions own you and being kind of like sucked into them and kind of being conquered by your emotions, so to speak, versus being a person who is experiencing an emotion, right? It's totally fine and normal and healthy to be a person experiencing an emotion, especially if you're going through something that is having an emotional impact on you, whether that's the loss of a loved one, a challenging time in your personal life, losing your job or whatever the case may be. I mean, hey, it is 2021. We all have just gotten through probably the weirdest year in most of our lives, 2020, and at least so far, 2021 is shaping up to be no less weird. And so it definitely makes sense that people would have a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions based off of things that have happened just in recent times. Again, I don't know how long this video is going to be kind of getting views on YouTube. It might be getting views for like years and years to come. But, as long as we're here in this 2020 hangover, and we're kind of at the beginning stages of 2021, yeah, it totally makes sense that people would have some intense emotions about the craziest year in probably most of our lives. And so if your ex or if anyone is kind of downplaying emotions, kind of looking down on them, going out of their way to separate themselves from their own feelings, yeah, that is definitely an indication of emotional unavailability. The third one is that they have a difficult time committing. Of course, that falls within the realm of relationships, right? If they're like, well, I don't know if I should commit to you, I need more time, I need to think about this, and the two of you are going at like a normal organic pace. It's like one thing if like, hey, you've been broken up and you are meeting up for the first time and it's like, well, I don't know if I want to commit to you yet. Like that's totally normal if they are a little bit hesitant about it at that point in time. But if the two of you have been talking for a few months, you've been connecting, you've been bonding, there aren't any like major obstacles in the way, and there's still kind of like, I don't know, that could be an indication of emotional unavailability. Of course, this also includes committing in other sorts of ways as well too, whether that's committing to making plans, whether that's committing to other sorts of things, whatever that might be, jobs, living in a certain place, whatever. That, of course, can be another reflection of a fear of commitment, or a fear of like making the wrong choice, a fear of, missing out, a fear of whatever it might be. Yeah, the truth is that you're going to go through life and you're going to have to make choices. And whenever you make a choice, that is going to, exclude you from other certain experiences. That's just part of life. But the point isn't to just kind of stand paralyzed waiting until the perfect thing lines up and then finally choosing the perfect thing, right? That doesn't happen. In fact, when you kind of put your life on pause, you are in fact actually making a choice, and you are in fact actually losing opportunities around you. That's not to say that more opportunities won't come up, but there are opportunities that you will lose by not making a choice. And so what is probably a more healthy mindset to have about all of this is to make a choice, make an informed choice based off of what seems like the right thing to do, commit to it, and then, do whatever you need to do moving forward. If it was the right choice, excellent. Go ahead and keep being committed to it. If it was the wrong choice for you, that's okay. You can correct course and, revise your decisions and all of that, but to kind of just not commit to anything, that is an emotionally unavailable sort of behavior through all of this. Another sign of emotional unavailability is that they may take your emotions, your experiences that you're having, things that you've done in the past, and crank it up, kind of distort what happened and exaggerate it to a certain extent. Maybe you said that you couldn't do something on a certain day or something like that because you were busy. They might then twist that and say, oh, you were ignoring me that day. You were intentionally shutting me out or something like that. Now, it's one thing if you're not communicating clearly, right? If you're not communicating clearly to them and they seriously don't know what's going on and they think that you're shutting them out, that's one thing. But if you're saying like, hey, I'd really love to be able to see you this weekend, but I can't because I just have so much stuff to do to get ready for that Monday presentation at work. And they hear that you say this and they say, okay, yeah, that totally makes sense. And then they totally freak out because you weren't in contact with them over the weekend and you didn't spend time with them over the weekend, and then they start accusing you of ignoring them or something like that. It probably indicates some other things going on as well too, but it definitely indicates emotional unavailability, in that, they're kind of exaggerating things that happened, sort of applying intent that you did not put into your actions or words. And so that is definitely an emotionally unavailable sort of behavior. And the fifth sign of emotional unavailability is, they might be able to have opinions and topics and talk passionately about certain conversation topics, certain events, certain news things, current events, pieces of artwork, things like that. But when it comes to, their own feelings, their own personal experiences, you might just get sort of a wall. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't feel comfortable talking about that or something like that. Basically an emotionally available person rather is comfortable talking about their own personal feelings, their own experiences. Yeah, there might be certain things that are tough or tender to deal with or something, but they'll come around and they'll feel comfortable sharing that. An emotionally unavailable person has probably numbed that emotional experience within them, whatever that might be. And so they might have a difficult time talking about it. They might have a difficult time vocalizing it. They might have a hard time kind of thinking it through or even accessing that, right? And so that is also an emotionally unavailable sign. It's just a difficulty or an unwillingness to open up and share personal feelings, personal things about themselves. Again, they might be very well versed and opinionated about, superficial stuff, current events, sports, TV shows, art, all that sort of stuff. But they might be kind of shut down emotionally when it comes to things that are a little bit more closer and personal to them. So that's something to look out for as well, too. Of course, the journey towards getting back together is a journey towards inspiring, the two people in the relationship to become more emotionally available with each other. That's to say, just because someone's emotionally unavailable now doesn't mean they're always going to be that way. But you got to watch this, right? You got to watch this because you don't want to be stuck in this sort of like limbo of kind of in a relationship, but kind of not in a relationship indefinitely. You want to know if this is an emotionally unavailable person or if they have the capacity to be available. And you want to get real about this and you want to accept them and say, okay, if they're emotionally unavailable, fine. But I can't do anything about it. There's no magic words that I can say that's going to change them. And so what I got to do is I need to get real about what it is that I want. And if that's a relationship with an available person, I need to go out and find someone who's already available. But again, there's nothing wrong with giving someone like a specified window of time, like, a few months or something like that to kind of work through this to see if they have the capacity to become more available. But you have to watch it. You have to be careful not to get roped into some sort of never-ending sort of quasi-relationship, okay? These are some things to think about if you think your ex might be emotionally unavailable, if you think that, maybe you might be emotionally unavailable, admittedly, you could be dealing with some of this stuff as well too. Coming out of a breakup, it would definitely not surprise me if you were a little bit emotionally kind of unavailable due to the drama of everything that happened. So be easy with yourself. Understand that this could be something that you're dealing with as well too. And if you do want some help, if you do want some guidance from us, if you do want to work with us, we have many links down below. The best one for you to fill out is the survey over at modernlove.life.quiz, modernlove.life/quiz rather. Or if you would like to, work with us in other sorts of specific ways that you already know about. We have courses, we have coaching, we have all that stuff down below. But anyway, thanks so much. If you do like this video, please help us out with that algorithm. Once again, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel and all that stuff. If you did want to learn more about emotional unavailability, we do have this video playlist over here, or you might want to check out this video right here. But thank you so much. Please take care, and I'll talk to you next time.